Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Formula One 2020 International Esport League Bahrain Grand Prix. I hope you will all enjoy it along with us and that you will have a good time here. So we have two drivers racing today. First one is Ziflok for Alfa Romeo Racing Orlen, and the second one is Sebo55 once again for McLaren. All of the drivers and the AI drivers are currently in the pit lane, so no activity so far. I hope it will be an interesting race and interesting qualifying. And that you will enjoy it. So here is Charles Leclerc, the Ferrari driver, going for his first lap so far. This is the out lap of Charles Leclerc. And here is our McLaren driver, Sebo55. Slow behind Max Verstappen on his out lap at the start of Q1. The Alfa Romeo Racing driver still in the pit lane. Meanwhile, Sebo55 on the soft compound tires, really wanting to get into Q1. As some drivers have stayed in the pit lane and some have just decided to go for the out lap right at the start and set as best time as they can. Here he is, the McLaren driver with with the RS wide open on his fast lap, going for it. And our Alfa Romeo Racing driver here on the out lap with white helmet. Here is Sebo55 on his fast lap behind Max Verstappen, the Red Bull driver. His lap time is looking good so far. Here he goes onto the second alternative start straight with DRS behind and in slipstream of Max Verstappen, going into turn 11 on the soft compound red tires. We now all wondering what will his final time be like, as he is a little bit wide here. As Romain Grosjean just sets a fastest lap so far, 1:30.2. What will Sebo55 times gonna be like? We are as wide open and it is 1:29.2. Faster than Max Verstappen. Here is the Alfa Romeo driver, a little bit wide here, with 22 on his car. The red and white Alfa Romeo going quite hardly through the turn 10 with DRS now. Here he is on the final straight, going to the last turn, hoping for as best lap time as possible, braking, going onto the final straight. DRS now is 1:34.1. He will definitely need to improve his lap time so far. Here he is. Is he going for another fast lap? Because it looks like he is trying to improve his lap time. Here we are on board with him, going into the turn 10, braking heavily, turning quite nice into the turn 10. Little bit of oversteering on the exit. DRS now. The roaring of the Ferrari engine in red white Alfa Romeo. Braking. Little problems with the gearbox on his car. Going into turn 12. He is now in the third sector. He has improved his time in sector 2. And he is now going for it, hoping that he will improve his time. Turning into the... He doesn't have a lot of fuel. DRS now. And he crosses the line. He improves by nearly 1 second. He will still need to improve by nearly 3 seconds if he wants to get into qualifying too. But there's a big improvement there. A little bit wide here. Causing yellow flag in the sector 1. Now in the low fuel mode, the driver. In low fuel mode, causing yellow flag here in main straight of sector 2. Here he goes, right into the boxes. Having a small problems to handle the car. Now, what will he do to improve himself next time? Now he will come into the pits with his low fuel mode. Here is his teammate Antonio Giovinazzi, still on fast lap. What will his time gonna be at the end? He is also not having a lot of fuel. Can he improve? He isn't in fast lap actually. He is going in for the in lap. He will box this up as most people are heading towards into the pits. Here is George Russell. Also, most probably heading in. Yes, he is heading in the pits. Everyone will now go into the pits and wait for the end of qualifying. Or nearly end, I mean. They will most probably, around 5 minutes to the end, go out. Sergio Perez now in boxes. The only car out now, George Russell, also now in the pit boxes. All the cars in pit boxes now. Now, who will take the pole position in this race? That's a question we need to ask. Sebo55 on provisional pole, but still can be challenged by a lot of people. Can do a small mistake. We will all see how it will go. Now, Sebo55 is still on provisional pole with 0.2 gap to runner-up Lewis Hamilton so far. This can be interesting fight for pole position in qualifying 3, I have to say. He can snatch the pole or he can lose it by a small mistake, as the times are very close, of course, to each other. So it can be very interesting at the end. I see some support in the comments for Sebus55 to take the pole position, which looks really interesting. And he has some fans around here. Now that big gap can technically mean that he don't have to improve, that he can save the tires, as he will not make it safe through Q2. But it's of course a risk. He will go out. Will he go out? We don't know, but we will see very shortly, as qualifying 1 is heading towards the end, and we will all see how it will go. Some drivers will now start heading out, as we hear the engine starting. Who will go out first? Who will try? Who will try to take the risk to go out first? As we see the Alfa Romeo driver heading out of the pit, he risking it, going for the outlap as first one on the soft compound tires. He's going slowly, warming up his tires. Not really warming up, but trying. And now he's warming up his tires. Now he is trying to get some heat into them on the slow outlap. Not damaging them very much, just trying to get that heat in there. Hoping that he can improve his times, as he's in the very bottom of the table. In the Alfa Romeo with his white helmet. Turning a little bit wide here in turn 9. No worries, it's on the outlap, it doesn't really matter. As he now goes into the tricky corner 10. Going quite nicely through there. Activating DRS. Is still out of the way for other drivers, but he's the only one on the track so far with the outlap. In turn 11, he is going for it. Hopes that he will make it to Q2, as his rival of this race, Sebo55, is on provisional pole. Hoping that he can get into at least top 5 to make it safely. Now he goes for the fast lap. We are on board with him. Let's see how it will go. DRS now, wide open on the fast lap, going for it. Braking quite nicely, turning into the turn 1. How he will do now, DRS. Going on the racing line, braking. Turning nicely, not missing the point of the corner. Very good from him. Well, braking a little bit wide here in turn 9. Now in the tricky corner 10, can he make up some time here? He gets out really nicely. Oh, nearly spinning out, a lot of oversteering that really hurt him on this lap. In the turn 11 he goes. After small mistakes, hoping that he can gain the time in sector 3. Braking quite lately, going for it. A little bit of oversteering. Wow, he's having a lot of oversteering on this set. Braking lately. Another oversteering out of the last corner. Not looking very promising this lap, as he doesn't improve his time after all the mistakes. As above 55 definitely, as the rest of the driver stays in the pits, it's all on this driver now to make it into Q2. He needs to improve at least 4 seconds on his time. Can he do it? We all hope so. We all pray for it that he will make it. As he's turning now really fastly, going through the section here. Braking lately here, but not making it wide in this Alfa Romeo. Going to the turn 10, very tricky corner, doing it great. DRS now open wide, going for it to turn 11 on this long straight. He can gain or lose a lot of time here. He turns really nicely here, doing some great, using the curb here to get nice. He improves a little bit in sector 2. Now sector 3, it all depends on that. It all depends on it. Braking. Now can he make it? Can he make it out? As he run out of fuel. Wow, that's very hard braking. He run out of fuel, and that's end and start from last race for him in the race tomorrow. That is very hard braking, losing out on fuel like this. That is really hard braking. Wow. So okay, so we have our Alfa Romeo driver out in qualifying 1 and Super 55 on pre-regional pole. Hard break for our Alfa Romeo driver as he run out of fuel. As here is start of qualifying 2. Here is Daniel Ricciardo exiting the exits, going for his outlap in his yellow black Renault. Daniel Ricciardo on his outlap now, going for it, warming up the tires as much as he can. Daniel Ricciardo now at the end of his outlap, going into sector 3, hoping to set as best time as he can to get into Q2. As here is our McLaren driver, Sebo55, with number 25 on his car, going for the outlap in his McLaren. Slowing down a little bit, now getting on the throttle. Now he goes into the fast lap, Sebo55, with his big skills going forward. DRS now on the straight, here he goes. A little bit wide here, out of the turn. Going carefully through here, fastest sector 1 for him so far. Very nice time. Braking lately into turn 9, making it nicely. Behind Valtteri Bottas, he is right now. In his slipstream, braking into turn 10 very carefully. Downshifting fastly. DRS now. Getting all out of his car to set as best time as he can. He is going for it. Careful here in this section, as George Russell sets the fastest lap. That's the time he needs to challenge his fastest sector 2, behind the Mercedes of Valtteri Bottas. He now goes, braking the last corner. Sergio Perez fastest lap, that's what this driver needs to beat. Now with DRS wide open. As he is now on provisional pole by 0.4, he is on provisional pole. He's on provisional pole with very nice time. Very nice lap time. Definitely a nice lap. As he now in his fast lap, going into the pit boxes, Sebo55, as there are cheers for him for his nice lap in the chat of our race, as he now deactivating the ERS and going in the boxes after his nice lap time. Here is Lando Norris, his teammate, activating the ERS, crossing the line and goes 1:30.038 on 9th place. As still some drivers who didn't finish their times, like Pierre Gasly here, starting his fast lap now, with his dark blue and white AlphaTauri. behind Lando Norris. Pierre Gasly setting the fastest sector 1 for him, as he is now going into the turn 9, which is followed by very tricky turn 10, very tricky corners of Bahrain, as he's catching up Lando Norris in his slow lap, which can destroy his time, as Lando Norris lets him by. He's going very fastly indeed. What will his lap time gonna be? It looks great for him so far. Improving for him in every sector. Going for it. As he's one of the last drivers on the track so far in qualifying 2. He is now with the DRS wide open. And he sets third fastest time. That's very good for Pierre Gasly. Of course, here Esteban Ocon, the last driver not to set a time here. He didn't improve his time in sector 2. Oh, he has set the lap time now already, as I see. All drivers now in the pits, not including Lewis Hamilton in lap, Pierre Gasly in lap, and Esteban Ocon in lap, and of course Daniel Kvyat. These are the only drivers on track so far, as it most probably be the same as Q1, as they will head out. All drivers now supporting Sebo in the chat, I see. All drivers now in the pits. I'm wondering if they will head out to improve their times or if they will stay for there to the end of qualifying, as most probably only the bottom 5 will try to improve. The Reynolds making the last 2. Wow, Sebo 55 really going for it. I think he can most probably get the pole today. Now, who will take the pole? It can be any of these AI drivers, but most in the condition looking great. Sebo 55. Wow, really nice lap time from him. The McLaren driver with his teammate in bottom 5 can take the pole, as he looks incredibly and in very good condition. Four minutes to go in qualifying, no one heading out for his lap so far. All drivers staying in pits, ready to go for the outlap. Who will take the risk first? Will someone take the risk and go out first? Who will it be? Most probably someone from bottom 5, as they are trying to get out from bottom 5. Sebo 55 probably not going out, as he is safe for Q3 100% with his incredible lap time. looks like none of the drivers is going out for the outlap, so the qualifying two will most probably end up like this, with Romain Grosjean, Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc, Daniel Ricciardo, and Esteban Ocon saying goodbye to us in Q2, which would be maybe disappointing from them. They are not heading out. I hear the engines starting as someone, I think Charles Leclerc and Reynolds, are now leaving the pits. The drivers, as I predicted, really must improve. I see the Red Bulls going out as well, and McLaren, most probably Lando Norris, going out as well. Here is Lando Norris going out with his orange McLaren with number 4. Here is Romain Grosjean already on the outlap. Alexander Albon also going for the outlap. Wow, Romain Grosjean now trying to get out. As he's 11th, he can improve his time. But he did not improve, as he is still on the outlap. Here is Daniel Ricciardo in tricky corner 10 on his outlap, as he's trying to make it before the time is up. Where will he finish? Will he improve his time? As the top 7 are now staying in the pits, risking that they can be pushed out or stay in Q2. We will all see. Daniel Ricciardo here going for the outlap. Now, out of the last corner, he goes for the fast lap. Daniel Ricciardo going for it. He activates his DRS. He's now in the fast lap in sector 1, going really fastly through this straight here. Braking heavily in the turn 1, turning, really hitting the curb with his tires. Activating DRS. Braking heavily in this turn, not going wide, using curb to get better exit. Using all he can from the car. He improves in sector 1, this can be really good for him. 50 seconds remaining in this session. Daniel Ricciardo on his fast lap. So is Lando Norris. Daniel Ricciardo now. As Romain Grosjean is already out of turn 10. Improving his time. Hoping he will get out. Hitting the curb here in turn 11. Going upwards. Hitting the curb again. Braking heavily. Improving. This will help him a lot to get out. Romain Grosjean hoping, wishes to get out of Q2. Sebo stayed in the pits on provisional pole. As Romain Grosjean now crosses the line, we will see. And he goes 7th. He is in Q3. Romain Grosjean will visit us there. As George Russell, Charles Leclerc, Daniel Ricciardo, and Esteban Ocon got eliminated. Sebo 55 on provisional pole with 129.0, going into the last qualifying, 10-minute qualifying. Now, hoping he can snatch pole or maybe 1 and 2 for McLaren with his teammate Lando Norris. All cars now going for the outlap. Here is Sebo 55, the guy who was on provisional pole in Q2. Can he get the pole in qualifying 3? We will see very shortly, as he is now in his outlap. We are on board with him, and we will be for the entire time, as he is the biggest contender for pole position with his car number 25. Going into turn 10 on his outlap, getting heat into his tires. Sebo 55. Braking into turn 11. Now activating all of it for this straight and the last corner. Must get good exit to get as best time as he can. Now DRS open. Wow, braking hardly here. Sebo 55, hoping for as best result as he can. Going very fastly through here. A little bit wide here, but going, saving it. 28.6 in sector 1. Very great sector 1. In the tricky turn 10, a little mistake as he didn't put the knee on the throttle. Now in the tricky turn 10, this can decide everything. He did a great job there, activating now the DRS. Turning very tricky here, as he now goes here upwards. 1.6 in sector Q, great sector Q from him. On the last straight, last corner, as he needs to be the times drivers are sitting now. DRS wide open. What will his lap time gonna be? It's 128.676. What a great lap time from him. That is nearly 1 second faster than anyone who's remaining in the session. Great job from him. An excellent lap. Excellent lap. Wow, what a lap. What a great job from him. Here he is on provisional pole in his in lap. Great job from McLaren driver. Wow. An excellent lap time. As here is Max Verstappen on his up lap, maybe also aiming for the pole position. As he's now in the final sector with his dark blue Red Bull. Can he get the ball? Oh, we will see, we will see. Max Verstappen, an excellent driver, an excellent driver. Can he get the ball? No, he can't. He misses out, he goes third fastest. All drivers have set it their first times. We will now see what they can do at the end of Q3. Legend time from Sebo 55. Great job and amazing lap. I think we can say that he can do a lot in the race tomorrow. All drivers now coming into the pit boxes after their in laps. An amazing lap from all of them. All guys in the pits now making their strategies how to beat the time of Sebo 55, or Sebo 55 making strategy how to improve his time. Here is Lewis Hamilton waiting before he can get in the boxes. Only current track now in lap, Max Verstappen in his Red Bull. Now Max Verstappen pulling into the pits. Max Verstappen had an excellent lap, but just didn't make it. Very close between him and Lewis Hamilton. And then there's a big gap to the pre-visional pole sitter, Sebo 55, 55, 55. And Romain Grosjean in P10, happy that he made it into Q3, but he's not looking like a fighter for pole position. So as Sebastian Vettel, Valtteri Bottas or Pierre Gasly, the only possible challengers so far is Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. But 755 had an excellent great lap with 128.6. That is an excellent lap from him. Looking on provisional ball, hoping he can snatch it. Now it's 4 minutes to go. Who will go out first to improve his time and fight for pole position here? Sebo 55, wow, nice lap from him, as I said already. Not really happening now, 3 minutes to go. Who will go out first? As it's 3 minutes to go. Who will go for the out lap? At the moment. As we now hear Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel and many other cars going for the out lap and hopefully fighting for pole position. Lando Norris leaving the pits as well. Sebo 55 quite in chilling. He thinks the pole is his as he is not going out so far. Only his teammate Lando Norris hoping he can beat the time, he said. Here we are on board with German driver for Ferrari. In 2021 it's now officially an Aston Martin. What he's driving for. Valtteri Bottas for Mercedes. The Black Arrow Mercedes car with Finnish driver. He wants to beat his teammate Lewis Hamilton. When everyone is on out lap, only Sebo 55 is staying in the pit boxes. Lewis Hamilton, the biggest challenger for pole position. What can he do now? What can he do? He really wants the pole position to start from and hoping that he will set the fastest time, as there is a big gap between him and Sebo 55. 1 minute to go, Sebo 55 staying in the pit boxes, saving the tires. He thinks the pole is his. We will see very shortly in 1 minute. Pierre Gasly leading this pack of the drivers who had headed out to set a new faster time. Pierre Gasly, here he is, going out. The pole position contender Max Verstappen now heading in the turn 1. Lewis Hamilton now behind Max Verstappen, also heading in turn 1. As the race will start very shortly, we have 15 seconds to go in this session. We will see what will happen if these guys who will from the top 3 snatch the pole. Will it be 55, Lewis Hamilton, or Max Verstappen? We will get to know very shortly. Lewis Hamilton going. He's slowing down in sector 1 by nearly 1 second. It's not looking well for him. What about Max Verstappen here? Going to tricky turn 10 with his dark blue Red Bull. He really hopes to get the pole today, as he's heading towards the turn 11. Will he improve his time? We will see very shortly. I think he's not fighting for pole position anymore, but he can still get the second place from Lewis Hamilton. How it will end? We have 0.00 seconds to go. Where did Max Verstappen lap put him? He's ending 4th. Very disappointing from him, as he was fighting for pole position. And here is how it ends. Pierre Gasly outqualifies Max Verstappen, with Lewis Hamilton in second place, 55 on pole position, with half a second to Lewis Hamilton. His 4th pole position in our racing league. Romain Grosjean will start from 10th place. Sebastian Vettel and Valtteri Bottas and Alexander will stay in same place. 6th is Sergio Perez, Lando Norris, Max Verstappen in 4th, Pierre Gasly in 3rd, Lewis Hamilton in 2nd, and Sebo 55 on pole position. What a lap from him. Amazing lap. We will get to race very shortly. I hope you are enjoying the stream so far. Please stay calm, we are not ending. We will get to race very shortly. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2020 Formula One Esport International League Bahrain Grand Prix. I hope you have enjoyed the qualifying so far, as we are now getting ready for the race with Sebo 55 snatching pole, Ziflock missing out in P19 as he ran out of fuel on his fast lap. Here is the race. It's 3, 4, 5. Lights out, and here we go. As Ziflock 19 gets a drive-through, in 19 places a drive-through penalty. 055 keeping his first place, covering the inside line, going into turn 1 safely. Lewis Hamilton fighting. Max Verstappen, amazing start from 4th place. He's already up in the 2nd. Lando Norris losing places as a result. Here is Lando Norris fighting with Pierre Gasly for the 4th place. Alex Albon run right on their tails. Sebo 55 already gone ahead. Romain Grosjean fighting with Valtteri Bottas. What has happened to Ziflock? As he gets drive-through penalty for the jump start. Very disappointing for him after qualifying. He's right on the tail of his teammate. He passes his teammate. Great pass from him there. Here is Lance Stroll. All drivers now. Alfa Romeo drivers wheel to wheel. Sebo 55 leading. Here we are on board with him, as he's leading the pack with Max Verstappen, as there's already near a second gap. Sebo 55 doing great job. He's trying, he's desperately trying. Alfa Romeo's falling behind, as he's now building 1 second gap. So 55 definitely dominating the first lap. He got great start, he got great everything. Great stop from him there. As here is Antonio Giovinazzi trying to pass his teammate. As Ziplock now goes into the pits for drive-through penalty. He is serving. He's going through the blocks. Disappointing for him as he jumped the start by an accident. Hope it won't happen again. He's really tried. The drive-through penalty hurt his race a lot, of course, as he's going slowly out of the pit box. What is happening? Hey, now he's picking up the speed. As VCD predicted lap time strategy. Sebo 55 meanwhile still leading the race. Ahead of the pack with nearly 1.5 second gap. What can he do now? Hoping he will do some great lap times, as he really does, setting the fastest lap of the race so far. Race control says the DRS is now enabled. As here is the Alfa Romeo driver in last place with 31 second gap, as he lost a lot of time in the pit boxes. Here is the race leader. Here is Max Verstappen, and he is Lewis Hamilton in third place. All drivers doing great lap times, staying together so far, as they are going for the DRS zone. Max Verstappen, the only one who doesn't have DRS so far, of course not including Ziplock. Max Verstappen is risking to get eaten up by the field. Lewis Hamilton now with DRS gaining time on Max Verstappen. Can he pass him? Hamilton getting close but not close enough. He will have another go. Right here in another DRS zone. Opening his rear wing. As he's now really close. Max Verstappen always pulls out, but he always catch up in the DRS zone by Lewis Hamilton. As they are all getting ahead from 4th place, where is Lando Norris. Now Lewis Hamilton into turn 10 for the DRS zone. What can he do about it? Hamilton gaining time. It's not close enough. It's not close enough for him to pass Max Verstappen. He is gaining even more time now, as Sebo 55 is happy that they are fighting here over 2nd place, as he is pulling out and ahead of the back on soft tires. Lewis Hamilton in the slipstream of Max Verstappen, gaining even more time. He is 0.4 behind now on the long main straight with DRS now. Still not close enough to pass Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton. Wow, look on Lewis Hamilton, right on Max Verstappen's tail now. Lewis Hamilton gaining time, keeping the gap the same, getting closer. Will he try to undercut Max Verstappen? Well, maybe he will. Now the DRS wide open for Lewis Hamilton. He's still not close enough. He will most probably be on the main straight. As we saw the overtake regime out of turn 11 on Lewis Hamilton's wheel. On board with him. Still in the slipstream of Max Verstappen. As Max Verstappen is trying to get out, but he can't. Lewis Hamilton still keep pushing pressure on him. Now with DRS wide open, he's getting closer, he's getting closer. It's really close, it's really close. Lewis Hamilton pulls out on the inside. He blasts past Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen here then. Behind now, Lewis Hamilton. With DRS, Max Verstappen trying to gain his place back. It will maybe cause him some time. As he is quite behind Lewis Hamilton, nearly half second, and he's falling behind. Now he's gaining time again. What will Max Verstappen do? A brilliant move from Lewis Hamilton to pass. As now he's catching up to Sebo 55. Max Verstappen with DRS gaining time he lost on Lewis Hamilton, wanting his second place back, as he made a brilliant start. Max Verstappen going for it. Max Verstappen gaining a lot of time here. And again into the DRS zone he goes. A speed window now for the soft guys is open. Will he try to undercut Lewis Hamilton? As Pierre Gasly there moves out to overtake Lando Norris. Pierre Gasly is ahead, but it's very close, it's very close. Lando Norris, who will have the DRS? Lando Norris now with DRS wide open. Pierre Gasly made a brilliant pass there on Lando Norris. Very nice battles. Sergio Perez quite alone in 6th place, with Sebastian Vettel right behind him. Romain Grosjean here trying to stay with Vettel, but he's pulling back. As there is a yellow flag in sector 3, what is going on? As it was Alfa Romeo of Ziflock, which caused the yellow flag. What has happened? It seems like everything is okay. Going to turn 1 Ziflock, as he had to serve his drive-through penalty. Very disappointing from him. He had problems in qualifying. Now he had problems at the start of the race. Very disappointing. Sebo 55, the race leader, is in the pits. I see a comment about quality of the stream. Thanks for support. Sebastian Vettel on the different strategy takes the lead of the race. Sebo 55 going for the medium compound tires, most probably on Q-stop strategy. A little bit slippery here for the lazy Rico. He needs to set the good times on the tires to regain his lead, of course. Because the guys on the medium tires who still didn't box. And I see someone is in problems in sector 3. I think it's Lance Stroll. No, Sergio Perez. Sergio Perez, his engine has failed. Sergio Perez lost his engine as he is now parked in the wall, or at the side of the wall at least. Sergio Perez in big problems as his engine has failed. It's the yellow flag. Will it be safety car? It doesn't look like. I think the guy who wishes it would be safety car, it's Ziploc, as he really needs it. With that big gap there, Sebastian Vettel comes into the pits on the soft tires, trying overcut on the race leader, or at least some people. As he is going soft, medium strategy, he will have to get for another pit stop. Very interesting strategy from Ferrari. The provisional race leader at the start, Sebo 55. As Charles Leclerc with George Russell is leading the race. But of course they weren't in the boxes yet. We will see them in boxes and we will see what will happen. The provisional race leader Sebo 55 trying as best lap times as he can on the medium compound tires. As he's going for it, he's trying to get into the DRS of Antonio Giovinazzi. It will of course help him to get some time as well, as the top 7 people who weren't in boxes are in the Sebo 55 in their pit window, and they need to pull more ahead if they want to get something from their strategy. Now with DRS Sebo 55, here we are on board with him gaining time, and Antonio Giovinazzi is sending it into turn 1. Great pass from him. Great pass from Sebo 55. Descended style into turn 1 at Bahrain. Great place for overtaking. Like this. Of course, it's not the only place for overtaking, but it's one of the best. Fastest sector run from Sebo 55 on the medium tires, as he is now looking in great form from this race. He took the pole position, he can take the victory. He is chasing Lance Stroll, the only racing point in the race left now. He does have the DRS, as a lot of people ahead of him, like Lance Stroll or Daniel Kvyat. Of course, as of test trying it, he sends it, and there's a little bit of contact with Lance Stroll. I think Lance Stroll has picked up some wing damage. The guy who we are focusing most today, the pole sitter Sebo 55. Now with DRS, he's gaining time on Daniel Kvyat. Will it make enough for pass on Daniel Kvyat? We will see very shortly. He tries it and he sends it on Daniel Kvyat. Wheel to wheel now. Kvyat leaves enough space for Sebo 55 to pass. Another great pass from the race leader. But he also needs to look after his tires. Sebo 55 on charge here. In lap 11 of this race, he's really close to Kevin Magnussen. I think he will try to pass him in turn 11 or turn 10, we will see. Right on Kevin Magnussen tails with DRS, gaining time on Kevin Magnussen. Where will he try to pass him? It won't be close enough in turn 11. He's very close. It's still not close even here. So he will try to pass him in the turn 1 or the last turn. So 55 looking great. Hitting the curb in the last turn. Now he will have the DRS on Kevin Magnussen. Overtake mode activated on his wheel. Gaining a lot of time, he pulls to the inside. SK Magnussen tried to defend, didn't work out for him. So 55 blast past Kevin Magnussen. And he will even have the DRS now. Kevin Magnussen right on his tail, not giving up yet. But Sebo 55 making the move quite safely. No chance from K-Mag. As the top two of this race so far are still fighting for the first place, but they of course weren't in boxes so far. Here is George Russell trying to catch up with Charles Leclerc. Braking very lately using the curb. George Russell and Charles Leclerc. Now, will George Russell try to pass him or will they box now? When will these guys box? As they are on these medium tires from start of the race. George Russell, as the one-stop strategy pit window is now open, George Russell getting closer with DRS on Charles Leclerc. I think he can make the pass in next lap if he won't box. Daniel Kvyat passed Lance Stroll there for 6th place. Sebo 55 is catching up to Daniel Ricciardo on his charge today. Amazing start from him on pole position. Amazing strategy he has as well. As he's getting closer to Daniel Ricciardo. Will he do his turn 1 typical Bahrain pass? We will see very shortly. It looks like so, as he is 0.3 behind Daniel Ricciardo and is still catching up to him. He was 1 second behind at the start of this lap, so he's really on charge today. Not really looking like he's looking after his tires. As Daniel Ricciardo goes into the boxes, that has made his pass definitely a lot easier. As George Russell and Charles Leclerc were all in the boxes, which of course now puts our race leader where he should be. Antonio Giovinazzi still not boxing, I think, actually, with 7-second gap in his Alfa Romeo, with Lewis Hamilton right on his tail. Now Lewis Hamilton, what will he try on Antonio Giovinazzi to get his 2nd place back? With Max Verstappen, as they are fighting for the entire race. right on his tail. What will he do? They are both chasing with Pierre Gasly and Antonio Giovinazzi. As he is now the only car ahead of the spec who doesn't have DRS, which will definitely not help him. Max Verstappen right behind Lewis Hamilton, who is right behind Antonio Giovinazzi. Pierre Gasly completing this with his dark blue and white AlphaTauri. Here Lewis Hamilton is Black Arrow Mercedes, trying to pass Antonio Giovinazzi, not losing any more time behind him. Sub 55 has set a new fastest lap so far. Antonio Giovinazzi goes into the pits, and still it gave Lewis Hamilton a DRS, which will help him a lot in this three-man battle for the second place. As we in this battle we have Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, and Pierre Gasly. All three guys fighting for the podium or at least second place. Lewis Hamilton is getting chased down by Max Verstappen, as Max Verstappen lost his second place. As there's a yellow flag in sector 1, what is going on? What was going on in sector 1 as we saw the yellow flag? What was going on there? Here is our race leader, here is Lewis Hamilton, 9 seconds behind. That is looking great for a sub 55. He has a big chance to win this race if he won't make any mistake. Now, here Max Verstappen still chasing Lewis Hamilton, as Pierre Gasly is falling behind these guys a little bit. As there's yellow flag again. With Alfa Romeo of Ziploc, he is not really having a great time today. But he is looking to have a nice strategy, so maybe it can get worked for him and he can score some points. Max Verstappen still chasing Lewis Hamilton, trying it. Max Verstappen, as you can see, right behind him. He's making the gap basically the same so far. These drivers fighting for the second place is helping Sebastian Vettel a lot actually. As Sebastian Vettel now behind them is catching up. Lewis Hamilton, the only driver from these guys who doesn't have DRS, is getting chased down by Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen still behind. Still behind Lewis Hamilton, and now he will go for the DRS. Can he get close enough? It's a half second gap. As Pierre Gasly goes and pits. So does Sebo 55, pitting quite early for the second medium stint, I think. What else tires it could be? Of course, it's the medium stint. So Hamilton takes the lead with Max Verstappen behind. As they are overcutting in their battle. Max Verstappen hitting a curb a little bit there. Chasing him down. The Mercedes driver now. So close to each other. Now Max Verstappen will have DRS, so he can actually do a lot. Alexander Albon, as we see him right behind there. Max Verstappen is really close to Lewis Hamilton, but it's not close enough. Like, if they are going to pit this lap, the pit stop can mean everything. Max Verstappen in Lewis Hamilton's slipstream on the destroyed medium tires. We are on board with Max Verstappen now, as he's still fighting, as it looks like Lewis Hamilton is not heading the pits, so is not Max Verstappen. They are on the same strategy. Max Verstappen with DRS. He has fallen a little bit behind, so it won't be anything from him here. He is now getting closer. As Alexander Albon and Valtteri Bottas pitting for their second time this race. Max Verstappen with DRS still gaining time on Lewis Hamilton. He's getting closer every lap, but it's not close enough. Max Verstappen now really going for it. As he can seem now really close to Lewis Hamilton. What will he try now? He's right behind him. The exit here means everything for him. He now starts the DRS. Wide opens his rear wing. He's not close again in turn 11. He's got much closer this lap. They are very, very close to each other. If something will went wrong in the pit box, Lewis Hamilton can lose it all, because Max Verstappen looking incredibly great. Now Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen both in the pits. We will now see who will come out from the pits first. Will it be Lewis Hamilton? Let's see his pit. Very fast and great pit stop from Mercedes crew. And Lewis Hamilton will be right ahead of Max Verstappen, but Max Verstappen got some time in the pit box. He can now change everything. He got closer in the pit box. As they are now in the traffic, that's bad news from all. Max Verstappen will now lose a lot of time here in the traffic, as they are there mixed with Daniel Kvyat. Max Verstappen fighting with Daniel Kvyat. He needs to get past Daniel Kvyat. He needs to pass him, as he does. The fight for provisional second place continues, as they will release into the biggest traffic they could. Max Verstappen behind Lewis Hamilton. He won't do anything big now because the other drivers will have DRS as well. He just needs to stay close to Lewis Hamilton. It's 10 laps to go in this dramatic Bahrain Grand Prix. Sub 55 now sets the fastest lap of the race. Max Verstappen still chasing down Lewis Hamilton, as he's getting closer now. Oh, so close! Max Verstappen, look at him, right behind Lewis Hamilton. Will he try to send it? No, he won't. Now Max Verstappen again with DRS, but now Lewis Hamilton is ahead. He was so close in turn 1. Kevin Magnussen pretty much holding Max Verstappen from the pass, as he's giving the Lewis Hamilton DRS. Meanwhile, Sebo 55, the race leader, dominating this race, is 7 seconds ahead of second place, dominating this race. With DRS now, Max Verstappen. We are on board with him. On his chase of Lewis Hamilton the entire race. What will Max Verstappen do? What will his strategy be? He has all stops done, he just needs to pass him. He needs Kevin Magnussen to get out of the way. When will Kevin Magnussen box? We don't know that. Maybe he's on one stop strategy, so now he just needs to hold them behind. Lewis Hamilton with DRS still not standing in anywhere. This big group with Kevin Magnussen leading. Very close, all guys to each other. All the guys so close to each other. As Lewis Hamilton now really behind Kevin Magnussen. Getting a lot of time on him. Lewis Hamilton will most probably try it on the main straight on Kevin Magnussen. With Max Verstappen behind them. Kevin Magnussen on the one-stop strategy with the hard compound tires. Lewis Hamilton now with DRS. As Kevin Magnussen is actually pulling ahead. Max Verstappen behind him. Kevin Magnussen will now have to hold all of them off. As he is now trying to get out, score some points. Lewis Hamilton right behind with Max Verstappen. Kevin Magnussen. Will he hold off or will he get passed by the cars on faster tires? Kevin Magnussen now defending from Lewis Hamilton and his pressure. With Max Verstappen behind. Pierre Gasly getting with Sebastian Vettel behind actually. Here is our Ziploc who didn't have the best race today. Most probably because of the bad start with the jump start, which didn't really worked out for him as he wished to. Just bad luck for him today, nothing anything. The dominating racer of this race, Sebo 55, amazing performance and everything else from him. He is doing great lap times and all that stuff in his McLaren. Charles Leclerc running quite safely on the one-stop strategy in second place with George Russell as well. Daniel Ricciardo on the same strategy, then Kevin Magnussen, and then the two-stop strategy boys chasing them down. Look at Hamilton, how is he trying desperately to pass Magnussen, but he can't, he just can't. Now they are blaming their strategies, most probably, that they shouldn't have pitted again, that they should have on the old medium tires. Kevin Magnussen still holding off. Will Magnussen defend, keep them behind for the last 5 laps? The hard tires aren't looking in the best condition anymore. He will now start losing a lot of time. And he can get eaten up by the cars behind, desperately trying to pass him, like here, Lewis Hamilton. With DRS now, he's getting really close. He will make the pass here. And Magnussen tries to defend, but he just doesn't have the pace to do so. What about Max Verstappen? He isn't close enough to pass Kevin Magnussen. He hits the curb here. He opens DRS. Now Lewis Hamilton needs to build as biggest gap as he can, not to get eaten up by the drivers. Max Verstappen getting closer to Kevin Magnussen. Max Verstappen still trying to pass Kevin Magnussen, but he just can't. He doesn't have the pace. He has the pace, but Kevin Magnussen with DRS from Lewis Hamilton. But he won't have the DRS on the main straight there. That is the place where Max Verstappen can do something about it. Kevin Magnussen on the dead hard tires. Desperately trying. Max Verstappen is really close here. He will have the pace to pass. We will see very soon. Max Verstappen now with DRS. Oh, blast pass from Max Verstappen. Kevin Magnussen couldn't do anything. Look how far is Max Verstappen already. He just passed him on the straight like a train. Kevin Magnussen didn't have anything to protect himself. He just couldn't protect. The hard tires destroyed after many laps. Can't compete with the new soft tires which Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton has. What a great passes from him, but Lewis Hamilton has used the Kevin Magnussen as a defense against Max Verstappen in their fight. So now he's ahead and quite safely in 5th place actually. There is nothing he can do much. He was fighting for the 2nd place entire time and that didn't pay off because now they are stuck in P5 and P6. They have basically technically robbed themselves from the podium. Lewis Hamilton, then Max Verstappen, then Kevin Magnussen, and then Pierre Gasly, another one to aiming to pass Kevin Magnussen on the dead tires with 3 laps to go in this race. Now Kevin Magnussen, will he get passed by Pierre Gasly? It looks like so, because Pierre Gasly now with DRS. Nothing Kevin Magnussen can do, he can just blast past Pierre Gasly, same way as Max Verstappen. And he gets even passed by Sebastian Vettel. Look at Vettel, wheel to wheel with Kevin Magnussen. Vettel gets past Magnussen. That's 2 places on one straight. With the dead tires Kevin Magnussen has, there is no one else to pass him on the fresher medium tires. That is disappointing for Kevin Magnussen, of course. Daniel Ricciardo now just hoping not to get caught up by Lewis Hamilton in these 3 laps to go, as we are looking on most probably the winner of today's race, Sebo 55. As he starts the 27th lap now. Showing great pace in qualifying, great pace in the race. And amazing performance from him today. Charles Leclerc 16 seconds behind him, can't do anything to stop him from taking the lead of the championship most probably. Here is our Alfa Romeo driver on the dead hard tires, not having a lot of grip, going very hardly in turn 10. Quite disappointing after the jump start from him was a small mistake with big consequences. Sebo 55 on the last 2 laps now is going to win the Bahrain Grand Prix, his first ever win and first ever win for McLaren in our season 1. He has showed great pace today. In Australia he got unlucky with the spin, like all other drivers. Now he is just going to dominate fully this race and showing the amazing performance he can do. As Lewis Hamilton looks like he has a little bit of trouble because he gets passed by the other cars here. He was running in P5, now it's P9. What has happened to Lewis Hamilton now here? Is he having some problems as he was just running in P... He was running in P5 and now he's P9. What is going on with him? Lewis Hamilton looks like his car is fine. Lewis Hamilton is falling behind. Can he actually get even passed by Alexander Albon? As he got close here. As here is our race leader, Sebo 55, on the last lap. Going out of sector 1. Last sector 1 he's gonna cross in this race. In his orange McLaren. Here we are on board with him. As he's going for his win. Very deserved. As Lewis Hamilton standing in the 9th place after we don't know what happened. As Pierre Gasly passed Max Verstappen for P5. Interesting. As Sebo 55 here comes to win the Bahrain Grand Prix. He's waving, he's dancing to the checkered flag, and he wins the Bahrain Grand Prix. As there is a yellow flag. What happened? It's gone already. Charles Leclerc wasn't looking like he can get a podium in this race. He goes now, holding of George Russell for P2. George Russell, amazing P3. Daniel Ricciardo crosses the line for P4. Pierre Gasly passed Max Verstappen for P5. And that's the race over for this amazing Bahrain Grand Prix. Driver of the day, Daniel Ricciardo. Probably deserved with the strategy he had. And here is our podium. With Sebo 55 dominating the race. As he's now spraying the champagne, of course. Amazing race And here we can see how the results ended today. So 55 wins with McLaren, gets 26 points for fastest lap as well. Charles Leclerc got to second. As Sergio Perez, the only driver not to finish. He didn't finish the race set for him. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is over of this stream, over of this race. I must thank you that you were here with us. I hope that you enjoyed the stream, and see you next week in Chinese Grand Prix.